The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
BBC Radio Solent have been talking to John Messino and they've written up a report on what he had to say, and it's on their website.
Portsmouth have worked hard to improve their away form at the start of the championship campaign, says boss John Messino. Only relegated Plymouth with 12, took fewer points on the road than Pompey's 14 last season, where they also managed just 3 wins. But the head coach believes the turning point came after a 5-1 hammering at West Brom in January. We tried to improve the away form, and towards the back end of last season we did improve it, just not in terms of results, but also with performances, Messino told BBC Radio. It wasn't good enough, we still wanted to win, but we never lost by more than a goal, but then managed to turn the corner with a positive result at Norwich, 5-3 win, and a point at Sheffield Wednesday. Portsmouth visit Ipswich in the Championship on Saturday, having gone unbeaten on their travels so far, and Messino says it's not an accident. It's been a lot more positive at the start of this season, with a couple of draws, and a win at Oxford, he added. We've just tried to be more solid, and we've got a defined identity out of possession which we didn't have at the start of last year, so we want to try to build on that.
So, a defined identity out of possession. He's obviously not going to elaborate on that because it would be giving future oppositions a little bit of an insight into what they ought to do in order to counteract that defined style or identity, as he puts it. But it appears to be working. It's early days. Now, listen, it seems to me you might agree or disagree. radiopompey@gmail.com is our email address if you want to get in touch. There was no mystery to Pompey's indifferent start to last season. And there was also no mystery about the fact that we were very strong at home and we struggled a bit away from home. But if there is a mystery surrounding Pompey at the moment, it is a big mystery. It is that although it's still early days, 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2, we are far more solid away from home than we have been at home. And it seems to me that there is no tangible reason why that is. So the reason is intangible. And, you know, without somebody who can read tarot cards or I don't know, a sports psychologist, it may be that we'll never know. What we do know is that we've got to turn our home form round.
Former Pompey boss Tony Pulis is telling Coin Poker why Pompey can look forward to a good season.
John Messino's done a great job there. They had quite a difficult start last year and then picked up on results. I watched them at the back end of the season a couple of times, and they were very good. They were very front foot and very well organised. They've had a good start again, like you say, this year. It's just keeping it going. I think the big thing there is to get established in the Championship and then push on from there. There's nothing stopping them from having a really, really good season again. Massive game this weekend, mind. Massive game, they'll be looking forward to that. Again, I spent, 7 months there. The support was unbelievable. They're so passionate, it's frightening. The one thing I can say about Portsmouth, players don't have to worry about the supporters. They turn up every week. They turn up and they make an atmosphere that is really traditional there. It's a fantastic football club, and the supporters are amazing, really.
Nice words about Pompey there from Tony Pulis. If you go back that far and you remember him, he didn't endear himself to every single Pompey fan. And I don't think he endeared himself too much to the players either, because when they arrived back from their summer break and he was ensconced, he was the new manager, the first thing he did was make them all go and run a complete marathon. A whole 26 miles, 365 yards. And this wasn't what they had in mind. But he put the emphasis on physical fitness, and there's a lot to be said for that. But the players weren't too keen on it. And he, I think, didn't really manage to connect with the fans as well as the fans managed to connect with him, because obviously it's one of his enduring memories of Fratton Park. The fans, there'll be 2,500, whatever it is, at Ipswich for the game on Saturday, and they will no doubt make their presence felt. So, thanks for that, Tony. Good luck with your new career as a journalist for Coin Poker, is it? Yeah, Coin Poker. And and let's hear from you again with 1 or 2 more positive comments about the Blues. Football news agency The 72 like to ask their football writers for predictions for Pompey's upcoming game. And here's what they say about Ipswich.
Alex Lipniski says, Ipswich Town have had a poor start to the season, showing vulnerabilities in their game that suggest they're still finding their rhythm. They didn't play well in the abandoned Blackburn Rovers game either, but they're technically coming into this one off the back of a win. Portsmouth, however, are no pushovers on the road, and they've got enough grit and quality to make it difficult for the hosts. Ipswich will likely dominate possession, but Pompey have the resilience to frustrate them. It's going to be a tight encounter, but I think Ipswich will edge it. Prediction: Ipswich Town 2, Portsmouth 1. James Ray says Ipswich Town haven't started this season as strong as they would have hoped. They got away with one last weekend, or at least it seems they have, with a full match replay the most likely outcome. ITFC are in for a tough test against Portsmouth though. Pompey are good on the road and the hosts are struggling for cohesiveness, so I think we'll get a close game here. On paper the hosts should be winning, but they've not shown enough to convince me they can do that here. I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Prediction: Ipswich Town 1, Portsmouth 1.
Thing is that Pompey's results this season have been rather unpredictable, haven't they? So since it is predictable that Ipswich, with home advantage and money advantage, ought to be able to get everything from Pompey and go their way with all the 3 points. If a team are being unpredictable, is it predictable to expect the unpredictable and plump for a Pompey win? Well, nobody's done that yet, although we have the thoughts of Steve Bone to build into what information we have on the prediction front. That's coming up. We asked Steve Bone for his prediction, Ipswich versus Pompey, and also reminded him that we like it when he sets a quirky little quiz question.
A prediction for Ipswich, I'm going against my sort of better judgment here. I think we're going to get a point at Ipswich. I think and I'd be delighted if we did. I think we're going to get a 1-1, similar to the West Brom game. I think there's going to be times in the game where it looks like we're going to be swamped, but actually we'll I think we'll take confidence from how we've approached the games at West Brom and Southampton. I think we'll carry that into this game. I personally would like to see Swift played further forward to see what he can do in the sort of number 10 role if Chaplin's out. We've got the added worry of whether Murphy is going to be out. If he is, I imagine Bianchini will get another go. By the way, I thought Bianchini, although his end product wasn't up to much last weekend, I liked the way that he got into the game. You know, wingers who aren't having a good game can sometimes drift out and be anonymous, but actually he was looking for the ball and he was getting plenty of the ball, and I kind of liked what I saw from him in many ways. So perhaps he'll get another chance at Ipswich, but no, I'm going 1-1 at Ipswich. And would you like a little teaser, a little oddity for the listener to finish with?
Very much so.
I can say before I start it that you've probably got no chance of being able to answer it, so I will give you the answer. But it's a nice one, and it's one that you could probably the listener could come up with variations on. I'm going to give you a list of 7 footballers. Okay, I'm just going to give you their names, and then I want to tell you not so much what they've got in common, but what sort of binds them together. So the 7 are Bob Holmes, Billy Meredith, Billy Pease, Stanley Matthews, Billy Bonds, Dennis Irwin and Billy Sharp.
So those players again: Bob Holmes, Billy Meredith, Billy Pease, Pease, Stanley Matthews, Billy Bonds, Dennis Irwin and Billy Sharp. It's an intriguing answer, and if you want the answer, you'll have to go to Steve Bone's podcast, which you can also find under Pompey Sounds podcasts on Spotify or whoever your provider is.